Hi, job seekers, welcome back. Today, I'd like to talk to you about how you can get your very first job in film and television. If you're new to my channel, my name's Robin, and I help people find work in entertainment by writing industry standard format resumes and helping them with their cover letters and their job searches. So, today, I'd like to talk about how to find your first job in film. It's not easy, and sometimes people can feel very lost whether they've been to college or film school and are looking for their first professional job, or if they just want to start working in film. And I'm talking about working in production. I'm not talking about actors here specifically, although some of the suggestions that I have will also work for actors. The biggest quality that you can have as somebody who is going to work in film and television is to be persistent. Tenacity is the number one quality that will make all the difference in whether you have a successful career or not. It really is very important. Don't give up, keep trying. It's just like auditioning for actors. You have to keep auditioning. The average number of auditions that you go through before you end up getting a good role in a film is, I want to say it's 85 or something like that. I mean, it's a really high number. So do keep going and don't give up. What if you want to start working in film production behind the scenes or television production behind the scenes? Well, let me tell you my story. I had been working in theater for most of my adult life. I'd been a designer, and I'd also started in costume and wardrobe in professional theater. I actually started as an actor when I was 16 years old because my mother had a friend who was a producer with a little acting company that went around from place to place and put on Christmas pageants and shows for children over the Christmas holidays, and that was my first job. So the first thing there is that it came from somebody I knew, but that experience was helpful to me when I came to apply for a job at a large theatre company in Sydney, Her Majesty's Theatre. Doesn't exist anymore, but it was where all the big Broadway shows came. When they came to Sydney, one of the theatres they went to was Her Majesty's. So I worked at Her Majesty's Theatre on several big musicals at the time, and it was terrific fun, and I really enjoyed being in the wardrobe, which led me to want to be a costume designer because I also sewed. So I started working in independent and non-profit theater with unpaid unpaid community theater, and from there I started getting work as an assistant costume designer as well as a designer in small theaters. Then I went to college because I realized I had come to the end of my skills. So then later I went to college for theater design and technology, and I learned lighting design and continued to learn scenic design as well as costuming. And my first job out of college was as the technical director of a small theater company. But then I decided to come to the United States for family reasons, actually. But when I got here, I couldn't work because I didn't have a green card. So I spent about a year working again, unpaid, in some community theater, doing costume design, a little bit of set design, a little bit of stage management. I didn't get the chance to do any lighting design yet. But then, as soon as I had my green card, I immediately applied to work on a movie that was shooting regionally, and at the time I was living in Texas, so I went to shoot again. I started out as an unpaid intern, working in the art department as a scenic painter, bringing my theater skills to work, to movie work in the art department, and from there I had the opportunity to be hired as the second unit art department coordinator. I did a few other little films, and then I came to Los Angeles, and it was some people that I had met on the first film I worked on that introduced me to somebody else on another film that introduced me to somebody else who was a designer who was working in feature films, and from there I parlayed an unpaid scenic painting job into a paid on-set dresser job, and I didn't really look back from that point. And I did make some mistakes in my early career, which I talk about on my website. But the main point is that I got from one job to the next through knowing people, meeting people, talking to people, telling them what I wanted to do. From that, there are a couple of things that I can suggest to you if you're brand new and do want to start in film. And I'm going to say that this applies pretty much no matter where you're living, whether you're living in Los Angeles, the mecca of filmmaking in the United States, or New York, the second place of filmmaking in the United States, or another regional center where there is filmmaking and television going on, or wherever you live. The first thing I want to say to you is that you should get an education. You can do that by going to college. You can do that by attending a film school. You can do that by taking some online courses, and I will simply say, caveat emptor, there are a couple of ones out there that seem to be pretty good, or you could get a little bit scammed like I was one time with a course that wasn't actually all that helpful. Do try and study and learn, and I've written a whole quite lengthy blog post about what you can get out of going to college or film school. And I invite you to visit my website and read it. I'll link it below. There are some good reasons to go to college, and one of them is that you can actually learn some good stuff, and it'll bring you into contact with people who are also studying, people who have studied in the past, people who are looking for crews to come and work on their low budget shows. Again, I have an article about the low budget world on my website. I'll link it below that I encourage you to read. But the thing is that you do need to learn about filmmaking, learn about, say, costume design if you wanted to be a costumer, learn about the different processes, learn about the technology. So assuming that you are in the process of studying and learning, whether you're in college or whether you're doing it for yourself through diligently watching movies and studying the great masters and reading all you can, there is something else that you can also do. I want to recommend to you that you try volunteering at your local community theatre. Now, it's not just because that worked so well for me in terms of gaining some real world skills that led me into future work. It's also because a lot of the people that are around you in those community theatres who are acting, who are working behind the stage, are also interested in filmmaking. This is especially true if you're in a filmmaking town like Los Angeles. The actors are there to be seen by casting agents, hopefully. That's their goal. So one of the things that you will do is start, again, building up your network, start meeting people who are interested in entertainment as a career, meeting people who might hear about either events or screenings or actual job opportunities. And that's where your networking can begin. The other thing I will say is that, especially if you're interested in the art department, which was my department, is that there are a lot of art directors, production designers, set decorators, and property masters out there who started in theater themselves. And one of the things they look for are people who have a theater background in this specific field. And it's because there's a kind of a work ethic in common. There's a language in common when they're talking about making and doing different kinds of things, and it's just a helpful thing to do all around. And a lot of the time, access to community theatre, they're always looking for more people to come and help out. They really are. Truthfully, they're rarely looking for more actors. There's always plenty of them, but they're always looking for people who really just want to work backstage. They really are, especially if you bring any kind of construction or painting skills. Oh, they'll fall on your neck. It's a good thing to do. The other thing that you should do if you wish to break into the industry and start working behind the camera is go ahead and subscribe to a reputable listing service. There are a couple out there that are a little bit different. I often recommend Below the Line Listings, which is findfilmwork.com, I believe. Not sponsored, I just really like them and I like their format a lot. There's another one called the Mercury Report, which is an email that is sent once a week. Again, another valuable resource. If worst comes to worst, you could always subscribe to IMDb Pro, which is a paid service that includes films that are in preparation, pre-production and in development. Below the line listings takes a proactive stance and contacts productions regularly to see how they're going and if there have been any changes. And the other thing is that they're online, they're updated in real time every day, I believe, and you can go ahead and make notes on the projects that you've applied to right there within your own profile, so you never lose track of who you've submitted your resume to or who you've spoken to. So that is another way of starting to see both what's out there, and you will want to look for names of people that you know. Oh, I remember that person from film school, or I remember that person from a theater production I worked on, and then you have a reason to contact people because you see that they're working on something. And my last point is, and I think I've already hinted at it a couple of times, is absolutely 100% the importance of networking. That's my mantra: network, network, network. And what that means is going to places and talking to people who are working in film and television. Networking is making personal connections, and a networking event is any place where film people or television people get together for any reason whatsoever, and you can talk to them. You're not going in there and saying, hey, can you give me a job? You're going in there and making friends, forming relationships, and getting to know people. And you'll soon find that if somebody is interested in you and likes you, they're going to ask you what you're looking for. They're going to say, oh, I heard of something. Let me give you the number, or I can call someone on your behalf, or here's a guy I know who's crewing up. And that's exactly why you do it. But it may not happen the first time you meet them. But they get to see you, they get to know you, they see that you have tenacity, and you can talk about the theater work that you're doing, the theater company you're volunteering with, or anything like that. So don't neglect theater for the sake of film. It can really help you even in your networking. So those are my tips for getting started in film and television. It's network, it's study and learn, it's try working in theater, and it's go ahead and get the listings. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to this channel, ring the little bell for notifications, and I will see you very soon. Bye.